Rise Nation. To see who goes to our grand final, over to our casters for this one. It's Benson and Revan.
Rise Nation, of course, looking to go back-to-back champs. LG looking to book their ticket into the grand final from the winners bracket. And what a big boost that would be for them, Revan.
And how funny would it be, you know, the first 4 events of the year, TK go back-to-back, and then maybe Rise Nation now have a chance to foul it up, going back-to-back of their own. But here we go, the hard point now kicking off. It's on statue, usually a contest-heavy hard point, at least in the opening seconds here, as both teams, they start off with an even footing, equidistant to the initial hill.
Well, looking at TJ Haley's perspective for now for Rise, he's already kicked things off on a 2 streak, make that 3 as he tags Slacked up through the barrels. And with 35 seconds left, you can note where LG is spawning all the way at the back of the map, and they decide to push through Cole here, and might want to consider pushing all the way through past Bus just to lock down those spawns for this.
Look how aggressive Rise Nation were being. They had TJ Halley, who was pushed up through Beer. They had Methods, who was pushed along the water side of the map, and it was Looney who was being that pseudo anchor on the map, holding fire, turning around and watching the flank.
Cap turns around the corner, 3 players for Rise, just kind of staring at him. How you doing, pal? You're not going to control these spawns. This is for Rise Nation. Looney, unfortunately, going to lose that gunfight out to John, and John actually finds a double. And I will say, John has been in MVP form this entire event.
Oh my God, a lot of people had some questions about him after that Atlanta event, saying, oh, what's up with John? Seemed to have an off event. Well, he's answered all of our questions coming to this one. Now it's Octane starting to get heated up. Currently on a 4 spree, working towards some streaks.
Already, though, a bit of a problem for LG. TJ with 2 streaks to his name, and we're not even managed to complete 2 full hills yet, Revan. So that definitely could be a little bit of an issue. Loses that gunfight out there to Slacked. It is LG that now have a little bit of control of Main Street, so you may see them kind of lap up about 15 seconds or so here.
Yeah, JCap tried to push out Cole and force Rise Nation to spawn out over near the water side of the map, but now all 4 members of Rise, they're grouping up. They're trying to flood into the hard pipe, but John's able to find 2 more. Now it's going to be up to TJ Holly, who's the last one alive. He's able to find 1. Can he get the second? No, he cannot. So the rotation is on as we're about to move over towards Docks. On the side of Luminosity, JCap's already there and fighting.
Yeah, Cap first to the hill. He finds 1. Not going to find the double. Methods there for the trade, but John flies straight at him. He managed to pick that kill. So you have a situation here where LG's getting the scrap time, and they also have the rotation beat here for Rise. This kind of small 30-point lead here could start to spiral out of control.
Plus, you have Gunless getting some kills in rotation. Gunless starting off 3 and 9. You figure it's only a matter of time before he finds his way into this game. But right now, it's a great lead for Luminosity as Octane picks up 3. They're going to continue to build this lead, turning around. They know the spawns are incoming from Rise Nation on that top side of the map. Let's see if they can pick up the second wave of kills.
Unfortunately, John drops there. TJ flies straight back into the hill. It's only going to be contested for now. LG 61 points to Rise Nation's 19. It is worth mentioning, of course, Rise still thinking about the next spawns as it goes over to barrel building. But, you know, TJ, he's had these streaks for some time, not really had a good opportunity to use them. You don't really want to use them on Doc's Warehouse, that's for sure. But, I mean, the question is, when will he use them? And will LG have already accumulated a massive, massive lead? That's the concern for me here for Rise.
Hopefully not. I mean, look, it's still early in the game. You're only down by roughly 40 points. It's not an insurmountable lead by any stretch of the imagination. As Rise Nation, they push in. They're looking to get this remaining 10 seconds. But you have JCap and John trying to contest for Luminosity. Rise Nation, they do have the favorable spawn for this upcoming hardpoint over near Beer. Let's see if they can hold on to their positioning and get some kills in transition.
I mean, one player we haven't even really mentioned here is Octane at 12 and 6. He's had a fantastic start here to this map because he got a triple kill on the final hill that we just saw. But TJ for Rise Nation ultimately drops here, and one player going for a cheeky little flank. It is going to be John, and John being such a nuisance, putting a lot of pressure here on Rise Nation, but Rise will hold for now on barrels.
Large in part to the fact that the spawns are in their favor. Their reinforcements get quicker into the hardpoint, and now Rise Nation, they're right back into this game. If they lock on to the remaining time here on the Beer hardpoint, they'll have the lead. But it's going to be Octane. He finds 2. Now working it through the water side, he finds a 3rd kill. This man's starting to take over the game.
And it was so important that Slack actually put the pressure on the backside of the map there. It forces Rise to spawn out as Octane picks up the double. And now instantly you can see LG with the flick of a switch. They should be good to grab this final 20 seconds as John looks for a double in fire. Could have been an influential fight. But bear in mind, Octane has a fighter pilot as well that he could use here. And that in transition could be massive going into Crane.
Yeah, plus he's inside the hardpoint, so he's getting the scrap time. Looks like he is going to call on that fighter pilot. Let's see if he can find some kills. Does find 1 on Methods, gets the second on TJ Holly. That buys time for JCap and John now to push in towards that Crane hardpoint, get some initial time, and start to set up as they're forcing Rise Nation to spawn on the top side of the map. Key here is that they want to hold fire, lock down that angle so you could shoot Rise Nation players as they cross to the hill.
And you mentioned they need to get fire control. It was Gunless who was in there for Rise. He stays alive, wins a gunfight, and doesn't really allow that spawn trap to be initiated there for LG, and Rise will break back over towards that Crane hill. 35 seconds still left in the hill, but it's LG right now still with the lead.
Yeah, it's been roughly like a 50-point lead throughout the entirety of the game so far for Luminosity, but still, you know, only 150 total points scored between both these teams. Once again, I'm looking at Gunless, 9 and 17. Very uncharacteristic game from him. You couple that with the fact that Looney's also struggling here, 10 and 18. It's a rough start for Rise Nation, but they still have time to turn it around. You just don't want to dig yourself in a hole too early on.
That's the key. Yes, you have time to turn it around, but you have to turn it around relatively quickly because LG right now, I mean, they're just not slowing down as Octane finds a double. Select is there for the third, leaves Looney last man up. He drops. He was, of course, in fire. Cap's going to clean him up. But LG, after that nice rotation of Hills, a 116 to 54-point lead. TJ now wants to use the fighter pilot. 4 players go down for LG. And finally, Rise can kind of take a breath. They have some control.
Yeah, still has that glide bomb to use as well. And that was an important fighter pilot to call in because Luminosity had a great rotation over towards that statue hardpoint. They were controlling the full water side of the map, which, you know, if you've ever tried to outgun somebody who's on that statue side of the map, it's near impossible. So fighter pilot greatly aids Rise Nation. Methods was on a 3-speed before he gets cut down. As Luminosity, even though they get full wiped out by that fighter pilot, they break on in, and now they're fighting for the hardpoint. But Looney finds 3.
Wow, yeah, Looney just turns around and finds himself a triple kill. So Rise retake control of statue with 20 seconds left. And it seems like Rise, the use of the fighter pilot there stops the bleeding, and it ultimately is a factor of bringing them back into this one. But this is a huge fight for Octane, a must-win for the spawns. Ultimately loses it. It's Gunless who may only have 11 kills, but that's not what you want to see. The team kill comes through. Luckily, their players are already pushed through fire, so ultimately won't have too much of an effect there on the spawns. But now LG, they're going to have to fight for the front.
Yeah, just a safety measure. TJ throwing that nade just in case Gunless died. He knew that at least Octane would be weakened from that engagement. But Octane, he's able to find 2, and this man has not slowed down all game long. Now 29 and 15. You just want somebody else to step up. And early on, it was John who was finding kills. He started to slow down a little bit. And more importantly than that, you need someone to help out Octane inside the hard point.
I was going to say, it wouldn't surprise me to see TJ use his glide bomb here. Just relieve a little bit of pressure. LG, they have to fight for the front of the hill. You still have good spawn controls of your Rise, and that's going to be the game plan. The problem is, Octane isn't slowing down. 31 and 15 as we're only on the first hill of the second rotation. He's working on some streaks of his own. He's slaying absolutely everyone. Finally, he falls. It's Looney that jumps into the hill. He's instantly traded out, and Main Street has just been such a vital key for LG's success so far.
We've seen Octane have so many games like this where he just flips a switch, he turns it up and takes over the game, just like we were talking about Gunless going into this game. Same can be said about a man like Octane. Right now, he's just putting his team on his back as we're about to move over to the Docks Warehouse hardpoint. Luminosity still maintaining that 50-point lead.
And John now can potentially go for a complete pinch into the hill. He wins a nice double. Ultimately, though, the Rise player spawning behind him. He needs the help from LG coming in from the other side. That is slowly coming. Eventually, Octane trades out that kill, but sadly, no pinch can develop now as Octane ultimately falls from Looney's nade.
And now it's going to be Luminosity. They forced to push from the water side of the map, and Rise Nation, they're set up for this. TJ's able to find 2. You got Methods putting down some covering fire through the window. TJ's now on a 3 spree. Looney on a 3 spree. It's a combined 7 spree for these players on Rise Nation. As they're heating up, they can get some streaks, and, you know, it's nearly a tied game. Rise Nation are right back into this one.
Despite how well LG been able to kind of hold that Main Street hill, both through the first and second rotation, you're absolutely right. Rise Nation keep chipping away at it, and it's a very, very fragile lead, and now you can see the plays from LG starting to think about that barrels building. 10 seconds left. If you remember, they floated through that lower dock side and went for a full flank in the first rotation, and it looks as if they're going to have to set up and do something similar here in the second rotation.
I was about to say, on these later hard points, the rotations from Luminosity have been lacking a little bit. They've always been fighting on the back foot. It's been Rise Nation with early positioning, and that's where they've gotten a lot of time so far in this game. Right now, we're on the beer hard point. You see Luminosity trying to set up. They have 2 players going to be pushing through water, and 2 trying to fight through the front, trying to contest, but being picked apart player by player as TJ finds 2. Looney's not going to push on forward, and he can put shots in these LG players coming off respawn.
And I love that play. Instantly turns on the aggression. John's going to fall, and that's going to force the spawns to be so far away. Back bus. LG have such a mission now to try and get over towards barrels, and there's still 30 seconds. Let's not forget of hill time here, which Rise could lap up.
Octane just got his 40th kill of the game.
That's insane.
The next highest on his team is 25 coming in from John, now 26, but still nobody else positive aside from Octane on Luminosity.
If he keeps up at this pace, you could see that 55 bomb from Slasher potentially broken.
All right, we have a potential kill record being set here on this London Docks hardpoint, but Gunless now starting to find his way into this game. Remember, he was double negative. Now he's bringing it to within -9, so starting to find a rhythm here as we're about to move back over to the Crane hardpoint. It's going to be Luminosity this time. They win the rotation. They have early position going into this one. Let's see if they can get get the kills to back it up so that they can soak up some time and start to rebuild that 50-point lead they once had.
It was a 2-point game as we rotated down to the Crane Hill. Glide Bomb's going to be called in from TJ. That's going to shut down JCap. No one on the hill. Important gunfights that need to be won here for Rise because they can watch the cross from the LG spawn down to the dock hill. Slack wins 2 though. Nicely played from him. Pushes out, looking for the 3rd. Gets it. Can he find the 4th and final player on the hill? It's a 4-piece from Slack. Hill control looking for 5. Ultimately taken down by the nade. But that huge play just forces Rise to spawn all the way back over towards Barrow.
Absolutely, relieves so much pressure off that Luminosity squad. Now, instead of being pushed back in that back bricks building off respawn, they can push out. They're starting to explore the map, although you got to keep an eye on Looney. Once again, he's looking for the flank, could play for this scrap time as Methods picks up the kill on the JCap. Looney's here. He could get some capture points, can't pick up that kill on the Slack, so we're about to move into another rotation of hard points.
The big concern for me, if I'm a Rise Nation fan here, is how well LG have controlled Main Street. Statue probably going to be a 50-50 split. Rise, honestly, in the last rotation, picked up a bigger chunk of that time, but LG on Main Street, they need to make sure that they can't win on that hill.
Yeah, more importantly, just hold the anchor spot, right? You want the spawns in your favor. You saw it came down to that 1v1 battle. I think it was Gunless versus Octane. Gunless wound up winning it last time we were around, but we're moving into a position where we could have yet another lead change in this game. Rise Nation bringing it to within 6 points as kills being traded between both these squads. Of course, you got to keep it on Octane now at 46 kills. Got to keep that in mind. Looking to set a kill record. It
just shows you how truly inseparable both these two teams are on board with Octane now as he looks over towards barrels. There's Looney, picks up that kill, falls from lower docks, and now it's basically down to JCap. It's almost a 1v3 situation over on that right-hand side of the map. He drops down. Luckily, a little bit of support comes in the form of Octane. And there's the first nade kill. That's going to be Gunless, but he didn't expect the Rise players to just flood him. And again, now it goes back down to JCap in a 1v2 almost.
Also something to keep in mind, look at the game timer, right? Only 56 seconds remaining. So when one team is controlling the hard point, you won't see the game timer tick down. If no one's in control or if it's contested, that's what's going to tick time off the clock. But Luminosity, as it stands, 41 seconds away from closing this map out, but Rise Nation are right behind them.
And let's not forget, TJ with a fighter pilot as well that he can use just in case LG do break through into this hill. They've had great success breaking through the front. This time, however, they may have to do it from the fire side of the map. John shuts down TJ, and now the pressure's going to come. It's 209, 201, still in favor of LG. Cap guns Looney, and the pressure's... They have to use the fighter pilot. You almost have to.
Yeah, let's see how many kills it finds. Only just 1 on JCap, so this push from Luminosity, they're trying to push him for the retake. It's only a 2-point lead right now for Rise Nation. Cover fire being brought in. It's going to be John. He finds 2, but Methods is there to respond with a 2-piece of his own. As Methods finds 3, looking for the 4th on that hard point. It's only JCap here to try and contest for Luminosity. He finds the kill. This is a nice 15 seconds to get, but it's all about the rotation now to what could be the final hard point of this map.
And 2 players from Rise actually spawn back, and they decide they don't want to actually push JCap. They'll give up that scrap time because they need to now win the fight on rotation with 4 seconds left. There's 2 players from LG there that could potentially close out this game. Methods drops, the new hill pops. John's going to be inside of it, and now it's important, just play your life.
Yeah, John working towards some streaks as well. By the way, Octane just got his 50th kill, and what we saw from Luminosity, look at the hill time for Luminosity. When we pointed out, nobody was helping out Octane inside the hill. Now it's a complete team effort. Only 10 seconds remain for LG to close this out.
And it's looking good here for LG to take map number 1. It's basically comes down to whether Looney can somehow touch the hill. Octane turns around. Looney does find the kill, 249. He tries to dive inside, but won't have time. And LG win a very, very nice map number 1. Hardpoint London Docks, 250 to 214. And you look at that game, how crazy it was. We mentioned Main Street. It was ironic. We were kind of talking backstage with some of the players about the call-out useless, right? And how it's kind of strange to call it that. Right there is a prime example of it being useful. TJ calls in the fighter pilot. 2 players from LG hide inside. They play their life. They stay alive. And that, of course, allows a series of trades to go through where Cap ultimately wins the 1v1 and gets 15 seconds.
It was Luminosity building an early 50-point lead, and Rise Nation throughout that whole game, they were just chipping away, chipping away, chipping away. They finally take the lead, but that final rotation towards the Docks hardpoint, you know, I was calling out Luminosity saying that their rotations towards those later hardpoints were lacking a little bit. It all comes down to that final hardpoint. They win the rotation. It was up to John working alongside. It was either JCap or Slack, and they just stayed alive. They got the kills that mattered. They held on, and you know, it definitely helps when you have Octane dropping 52 kills.
Yeah, it definitely does, and your sub player right behind you with 40 kills as well. It just shows you how hard LG had to work for that first map. Rise, of course, they started off well. Well, TJ started off well, right? Gets those streaks early. A nice little stat line from him, but sadly, no stats don't mean diddly squat when you lose map 1.
Yeah, look, to these players, all that matters at the end of the day is if you're winning or you're losing. And you know, another player who had a slow start, Gunless, is pretty uncharacteristic of him, considering how much we were gassing him up coming into this one. But we're talking talking about the keys to victory for Luminosity, key number 1 for me was finding a way to shut this man down, and they found a way to do it.
Yeah, they most definitely did. It's ironic. That's exactly what you said, and it's exactly what happens. And LG, of course, take map number 1, and that could be key in terms of the way you look at the rest of the series in terms of the team's preferred maps now. Map 2, London Docks, Search and Destroy. This is a map I've casted LG a lot, it feels like, this event. And
yeah, we casted them earlier on in the tournament on this map.
We did, and I've seen them play, I think, 3 times overall this event, and it's got to the point now where I'm pretty sure I know exactly what LG is going to do almost every single round. So the question is, has Rise done their research? You would assume so. And more importantly, can Rise find an answer to slowing down John mid-map, right? John is such a hyper-aggressive player. When he hits mid and he has Octane behind him, when Octane's shooting like that, when it's 50 bomb Octane, I mean, John is basically free to do whatever he wants.
And I think Rise Nation approaching this map, you just want to fight fire with fire. This is also one of your better Search and Destroy maps.
Right.
We've seen great performance out of them on London Docks Search and Destroy before it, but going back to what you were bringing up, if you know what Luminosity are going to be doing on this map, Rise Nation better know as well. Right. I mean, I can tell you right now, they're going to smoke the A Street. They're going to either have a heavy presence mid towards Statue, or they're going to commit into that A bomb site. One of 2 things are going to happen.
And when you do see that smoke, you normally know John may actually go straight into the barrels down the stairs, and you would love to see that pre-stun come through. That was something that a lot of teams have had success. Just slow down that push. And on the flip side, you know, you talk about Rise Nation on this map. TJ, such an intelligent player when it comes to Search and Destroy. Kind of, what, 2 months ago, he was considered the best Search and Destroy player in the world by hands down, by far. A little poor performance at the last major, but definitely, yeah, seems to be making things up this event.
Well, look, there's a reason why he has the reputation he has, right? As the Iceman, the Search and Destroy All-Star. He just has a great feel for how to play this game mode, especially when it comes down to like 1v1 situations. He knows how to play for information very well. He watches the crosses and deduces where that final player could be from there. He's just very intelligent. Yeah,
plays the percentages and plays them well, that's for sure. But map 2 now officially underway. London Docks Search and Destroy. It's LG with the 1-0 series lead. Rise Nation, of course, on the attacking side. First of all, Looney gonna be the bomb carrier.
Okay, smoke goes out, blocks off that A choke point, but guess what? Nobody from Luminosity is even watching it there. So this should be a free bomb plant for Rise Nation. Now, one thing that can work against you when you get this early plant down at the A bomb stage is you kind of feel trapped on that side of the map. You don't have a lot of area to work with because there's only like 3 main lines of sight you could get onto that bomb. 2 from the windows, 1 from lower docks.
And this is something that you'll see LG do time and time again on London Docks, that kind of wolf pack mentality. They'll try and 2-hit the flank, see if they can potentially try and win that gunfight, but it's Methods that shuts down Cap, and Methods ultimately finds him a second, and that now frees up the entire flank. He doesn't have to worry about it. Methods with a fantastic round thus far. 3 kills to his name. Rise Nation, a convincing round 1.
Yeah, Slack tried to sneak around the back there, but Methods was holding the back truck, and he just had an easy line of sight. So Rise Nation, they get the early plant, post-plant positions, and just let Luminosity walk right into them, pick up the easy kills. Round 1 goes to them.
You mentioned it, no one from LG plays the A site, right? If no one plays there.
Well, they tried to maybe like hard counter a B push or something.
Right. It just didn't work out. Round number 1, we'll see if they potentially change that defensive strat on their next defensive round. But now it's time to have a look at LG on the attacking side and see if potentially it's going to be a similar A push. It looks that way. The smoke goes out. John's going to throw the stun straight over, and he's actually just going to rush straight towards the site.
Does get the hit marker, so he knows that Looney is around that general area, and we're looking at the mini-map. Looney's actually the only one there for his team, the last 3 members for Rise Nation towards that B site. Keep an eye on TJ, though. He's threatening the flank.
And Cap was watching the cross there from barrels, and now has a 1v1 with TJ, who wins the gunfight. 4v3 in favor of LG.
You know, J-Cap's letting TJ know about that one, as it's all down to Looney. Octane's able to find 2. Looney gets cleaned up. A push versus A push. Luminosity just do it a little bit better.
Yeah, nicely played from LG. Octane in your bronze star. There's 1, and well, there's the second. There's a little strafe there to the right. Looney misses some shots, and Octane says, thank you very much. I'll take that round.
Hey, we've seen so many times where players start shooting bodies mid-series, and it just takes a turn for the worse from there. So hopefully Luminosity, they don't get any bad juju from that. But
looking at you, TJ.
Now we want to see what LG are going to adjust on their defensive end. So obviously, first round, they don't send anybody over towards that A bomb site. It was a complete B stack. And of course, Rise Nation, they guess they go A. It was the right call. They're going to do the same thing here, but this time around, Luminosity still nobody there. So once again, this should be a free plant for Rise Nation.
And what you want to see is now LG adapt maybe a little quicker, right? First round, you saw how quickly they were able to get control. Once again, you're going to have John and J-Cap working that flank as a duo. They know Method's going to be back fan. That's exactly where he was last time. Would love to see him potentially just get shut down for maybe an easy first blood, and that's what you basically see. The bait comes through. John was there to trade. So now you have yourself a 3v3 situation. This is a lot better round here from LG on a retake.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The difference here is that they're so much quicker to work on the flank, and you have Slack playing on that mid-jump. He's counting the players that cross into the A-bomb site. Balloony finds 2 now. It's all down to J-Cap. JCap. He knows where both players are. He has Looney trapped behind the bomb site, goes for the challenge, can't clean up the kill as TJ re-challenges. We love the change that LG made, just being quicker on the flank, but Rise Nation just push on through and they essentially switch sides of the map, use the cover to their advantage.
Tell you, if Looney doesn't get that double kill though, things maybe get a little scary there. Of course, he takes down Octane first and then someone else there from LG, but a nice little adjustment from LG, but ultimately not enough. Rise hold true on their A plan. Ultimately, they go 2-1 up. Now it's LG back on the attacking side. And I'd be curious to see now if John and Octane actually push through mid-barrels, see if they can potentially just take control of fire and John go maybe on a bit of a fast flank, and that looks like that may actually be the play.
Yeah, so this is Luminosity's variation on their A-split, so they have the smoke still as their standard. Octane finds first blood, and then John just pushes right on through. If he doesn't get challenged, he'll continue to go through fire, and he'll wrap around through Crane and find the easy kills over at the A bomb site, but Octane finds one more. Gunless gets the trade onto Slack. So right now, Luminosity with the man advantage, once again, all down to Looney, a 1v3.
And look at that, it's a flawless strat. Octane finds 2, John finds 1, ultimately he falls, but you don't really expect Looney to be able to clutch the 1v3, especially with Octane aiming right at him. Octane finds 3, and that strat I feel like you have to respect, right? If you're Rise, you cannot give Octane mid-map control, because he just will take full control of it, and you see there, it gets 3 kills in that round.
Yeah, tough for Looney to win this engagement when you can only see the top pixel of Octane's head in this position. So tough, but look, we were calling it. We know what Luminosity bring to the table here. It's going to be it seems like this map is going to come down to who could win those defensive rounds, because both teams seem to have a great understanding on how to attack that A-bomb site and how to manipulate the angles.
Or potentially, who's going to maybe mix things up and go be on the attacking side, and whether that will succeed or fail. For now, though, it's been nothing but success at the A side. And Rise mixing things up here. Are they going to go for the fake smoke? Of course, you can see the B push coming through very aggressively. The smoke was thrown out A. This time, Slack, who's the LG player that plays that A site, just kind of says, well, hold on, this gunfight's going towards B. Let me hit the flank. But the problem is, everyone's dead.
Yep, Octane does find a trade kill. Grenade connects there onto Gunless, but coming around the flank, got to keep it on Slack. The Octane looking to lock down the middle of the map now. Bomb yet to be planted. Slack playing this one slow. And the smoke, he dives on through. He gets cleaned up by Looney. Now it's a 1v3 for Octane.
And it's so important Octane may value his life here just to play for those streaks. However, makes it a 1v2. And this is one of those decisions he's going to have to make very, very quickly. Does he try and play for the clutch, or does he just play his life here and play for the streaks? If he finds one player here, make the 1v1. It could be very different. Bomb, of course, has been planted. Unfortunately, no nade available for him either.
If he kills Looney, then yeah, I think he'll just back up, play his life, depending on how much time is remaining. But because he's so close to those streaks, I think he's just going to try to find another avenue. Depending on how quickly he gets this next kill, there's still a chance for him to clutch it.
He's on a 5 streak, 10-2. Spots TJ, tags him up. No kill yet.
And that's what makes TJ like such a good player. Look, he's just going to shoulder. Okay, he just gets ripped right off that heady. Nice shots from Octane. Now it's down to a 1v1, but Looney's not going to peek. There's no way Looney's going to peek this early. He just checks the bomb, does not see him defusing. Octane Primo around the corner, spots his feet, lays down some shots. If you're Looney, I think you just run away. You do not want to fight Octane right now.
Octane may read it. Spots Looney. Looney goes for the challenge. Octane has him one shot, but Looney still wins the gunfight. And that could have been massive there for LG. You see why he rechallenges. He gets the first few shots in, but Looney ultimately puts a stop to any LG streaks.
Yeah, that's a huge kill for Looney to make. As we were saying, just shutting down the streaks. Octane's been shredding for map 1, carries it forward here to map 2, but still just a 1-round difference between both these teams. Rise Nation with the lead 3-2. So far, every team has won their offensive round.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have, and we'll see if it stays that way.
11-3.
Pretty
His
impressive.
teammates combined for 5 kills.
Yeah, Octane doing double the work, if you will. And of course, he has a first blood there as well. Octane plays mid-map. Looney needs to be a little careful there. But John, this is something else he does on this map. Pulls out that sniper rifle, watches that A cross, and he's very, very talented with the sniper. And that's something which is almost very impressive to me, right? He can use that sub, use it at a fast pace, then switch things out, change tempo with the sniper, and still hit the shots. And instantly, Looney, for I think it's the 3rd time, 1v3.
I was about to say, this guy's always left in a 1v3, so Slack's going to be able to get this bomb planted. I think if you're Looney, even though you have decent progression, maybe you try playing for it. You could also try, maybe you're thinking of jumping off the map and not feeding any streaks, but John's going to connect with the sniper rifle. Guess what? Another team wins their offensive round.
Yep, and that's 100% attacking win. Or attacking rounds 1, I should say. There you see John with the sniper rifle. Pulls it out, gets the picks. First blood, I believe, went to him as well. That's the final kill in that round. So see if Rise maybe want to adjust to that, or see if he keeps it out, of course, on the defensive side.
Yeah, so both teams kind of feel that they have to, be aggressive on one lane on defense, because if the offense is just going to commit to one site, then you're going to want that quick flight to come in. Sometimes he gets right, sometimes he gets wrong. and that player gets isolated, and that's usually where you see the first blood happen. But it's going to be an A-bomb site push. Smoke goes out once again, blocking off that line of sight, which allows players to get into this A-bomb.
And this is the first defensive round LG have actually done something a little bit different, right? Traditionally, you see them kind of wolf pack. This time, they actually have Slack play that A site where players are aggressive towards it. You have one player over towards B. They know that's clear. Realistically, you just got to keep your eye out on methods. Number 1 on the minimap, top right. Potentially, he could make a play. No action for him right now, but he's definitely someone to kind of just keep your mind that he is there and could cause some chaos.
So normally he's the guy on the back street watching the flank and holding that back truck, but this time around he plays over near Underground. Doesn't see any presence. Now he's making a play through Underground. Does lay down some shots as TJ, he's going to get first blood there as he takes down JCap and Methods. He was laying down some shots earlier. John should have known he was in that position, but man advantage in favor of Rise Nation. It's all down to Octane, but if there's one player you want alive for this LG squad, it has to be this man on your screen now.
Talk about Captain Carry if he clutches this 1v3. It's tough, you know, it's bomb. It's probably last seen at the A site. They get the audio cue. That's TJ, and, well, he's read it pretty well. Can he find the picks, though? Bomb planted at B. He's quite literally the center of a triangle of Rise players. 37 seconds left, of course. Not that much streak progression here. So
you know, technically he is fighting like 3 different 1v1s, right? But he just doesn't have position to work with. TJ, as he rotates back over towards that B bomb site, finds the easy kill onto Octane. So still 100% win rate for these offensive rounds. Who's going to win this first defensive round? It seems like that's going to be the difference maker here.
That's what it's key, and I have a feeling it's going to be the first team that plays B, right? First team that goes for a B attacking play might just lose it. We'll, of course, wait and see as LG now back on their attacking side. One thing's for sure, Octane probably needs a little bit of help. 12 and 4, the rest of his teammates 3 kills. A couple of first bloods in there as well.
Typically, it's John, the player to step up, especially in Search and Destroy. We always talk about him being a playmaker, but guess what? Smoke goes down over on the A straight, blocks across, stun connects as well. John might choose to push through the smoke, but as he gets tagged up by the grenade, he's going to rethink, reposition as Luminosity gear up for this A-bomb side attack.
Definitely wanted to go, though, didn't he? If that nade doesn't hit him, he definitely flies, but Octane finds one.
Stop challenging this man. He's hitting every shot.
Luckily, though, TJ just traded his own life with the Semtex, and that gives you a 3v2, and with the main man of LG dead, this is maybe a good chance at a 2v3 clutch.
But Methods around the flank, nobody was watching the flank for Luminosity. Instead, it was JCap. He gave it up to choose to reflank Looney. Now, if they get this kill on the Looney, it's definitely going to help, but he's able to find one. At the very least, his life is going to get traded out. You see both LG players, they're going to pinch on it, and John picks up the kill. Now it's all up to Methods, and because LG pushed towards the Rise Nation initial side, they know that message should be coming from the flank. Methods spots JCap, can't clean up the kill, 20 seconds remaining.
And Cap just has to stay alive here. You know John should more than likely be watching the cross, and you're right, you read it, but unfortunately, didn't read it quick enough. Otherwise, he may have had that kill. And again, the attacking side wins.
If only he had X-ray vision like we do.
Be a wonderful thing, right? 4-4, though, the score here in London Docks Search and Destroy. If you are just tuning in, it was LG that took a hard-fought London Docks hard point, so they have the advantage here. Be important for Rise to win this map to level up the series.
Yeah, we'll see. Still waiting for a team to win that defensive round. So far, lots of action going down near the A-bomb site. So we've seen some action over towards B, but it's not as much as I'd like.
It's a test of Bottle, right? Who's going to be the first team to go towards B? And, well, we're finally going to get to see our wish. And here's the problem. This is LG's kind of default strat straight off the back, and they get the first blood. And honestly, this could be Rise Nation in a little bit of trouble. The kills come through. 2 players full. Methods, he's the only man alive. It's a 1v3 situation. Judging by the way that he's able to fight 2, is he able to fight 3? The challenge is going to come through. 2 players, 1 shot, but ultimately drops. And LG, they win a defensive side.
Not only were some of those players tagged up, they almost lined up perfectly for him. And you remember last time we were watching LG play this map on Search and Destroy, the play Slack had over near front cold, just utilizing that position perfectly. Seems like that was the game plan here, and the key for LG was that they got the first blood. They had the early man advantage, and from there it just clicked. They knew that they just had to work the trades, cover their teammates, and they walk away with the first defensive round victory we've seen this map.
And I called it. First team to go B on attack is probably going to lose that round. And LG, they obviously send so many resources over towards the B site now. How are they going to play?
We're in round 10, and Octane still has more kills than the rest of his teammates combined.
That's pretty impressive stuff. Only by 1, though, now, so it has slowed down.
Now
Slack gets a first blood.
Not as impressive anymore.
Ultimately goes down. Octane not going to win the gunfight mid-map. John, however, able to shut down Looney. So 2v2, 68 seconds to go.
Oh, and Luminosity, they're going to push us through. They're going to rewrap the bomb site. They're going to meet these Rise Nation players. John, he's going to lose that battle, so that all down to JCap, who wants to push it for the trade, but he doesn't have the position to work with him. Benson, we're going to round 11.
Yes, we are. All attacking rounds 1 until the final 2, in which case the players say, you know, let's win a defense now.
Turns out they do know how to play defense.
Round 11, LG Rise, the winner's bracket final. We already said LG, of course, 1-0 up in the series. It'd be massive for them to get a little bit of a cushion here, but we'll see who's on the attacking side. I believe it is going to be Rise Nation.
Okay, so Luminosity, of course, last defensive round, they won. Adding up the First Bloods, looks like Luminosity have Rise beat by just 2.
They're going to do it again. They're going to do it again. They think, oh, well, LG won't expect us to push B again. TJ already one-shot. The nades are going to come through. The cross was potentially watched by Slack. They have TJ dead for rights, and John gets the first blood there on Looney, and Cap should know that there's a player to his right. That is TJ, but TJ somehow wins the gunfight to level up the playing field.
That's a huge engagement to win. Of course, it evens up the man advantages. The early nades from Luminosity, they got a couple tags, so they wanted to commit to those fights. They knew those players were weak, and they thought they had the upper hand in those engagements. The Halley gets weak, tagged up again, but how does he win that fight versus John? Keep it on the minimap. Watch Slack to keep it on Slack.
TJ, such a big play. No right to win the fight. John falls, and now advantage Rise Nation, but you called it out perfectly. Slacked for LG has all the information he could possibly need. Teammate mid-cut, TJ falls. Can he stay away with his life? No! The challenge comes through, and it's Octane. Of course it's Octane. The man, the myth, the legend. A 1 versus 2 for the game.
And even though you're jiggle picking, you feel so uncomfortable doing that against Octane. Bomb gets planted, he does not see him cross left, so he knows that both players are spread out on the street. Time winding down, spots gunlets, and Methods actually pushes through light. So both players now on the same side of the map for Rise Nation. Time ticking away. Octane has to make something happen, and he does not have any time to work with.
Octane, no utility, and running out of time, ultimately drops, and Rise Nation take the search and destroy. Round 11, though, unbelievably back and forth, and just sadly, nothing Octane could do.
What more can the guy do? I mean, he drops at least 15 kills throughout that map after dropping 52 on the initial hard point. Both maps we've played so far are living up to the hype. Both teams bringing a lot of slaying power, evenly matched as we're moving into Flak Tower CTF. So close to call here.
Yeah, it just shows you how truly inseparable both these two teams are, right? This is why it's our winners bracket final. Both teams have looked pretty great in the winners bracket. Of course, Rise had some troubles and some lulls, as did LG really in pool play, but so far so good here for our winners bracket final. It's been fantastic. Series tied 1-1. For now, we're going to do a quick commercial. When we return, however, we're going to Flak Tower CTF.
Being at CWL Birmingham has been, it's amazing, man. We've got the top teams from Europe, top teams from North America clashing. An opportunity for a ton of European fans to come out, a ton of European amateur teams. Been very excited to be a part of it.
I don't think any other EU event has been like this. There's just so many players, so many people that want to just do well here. It's just unique. There's like 130 teams here, which is unreal for an event in the EU.
There are a lot of teams from America that are really, really good. I've met a lot of different people here. I just love the competition.
The European teams, I think the UK-based teams are probably going to be a little more comfortable on their home turf. For the American teams, it really just drives the point home that you are here competing against the top teams in the world, not just the top teams in America.
We have maybe a North American versus European grand final. Will jet lag affect these guys at all? I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're going to use it as an excuse, but I can speak from experience. It's certainly something that can affect you, and I think it's exciting to see. You know, European players have to come over a lot and deal with it. Can the North American teams muster the strength to get through it and take another tournament?
Yeah, so jet lag, I thought we got used to it, but we find ourselves getting a little more tired earlier in the day than we're used to. It's definitely an issue, but we're trying to fight through it the best we can.
I think it's very important we have events in Europe. For me, it's more about the fans and the amateur teams. You get to come in, show your team's colors, get behind your team, make some noise. There are more teams in the open bracket from Europe than ever before. This is the biggest event on European soil. It's awesome to be a part of it, and yeah, I think it's absolutely necessary.
It's called the COD World League for a reason. We got to cater to the entire world.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Championship Sunday, it's winners bracket final time. Rise, LG, all tied up 1-1. Myself and Revan, though, we have a cheeky little screen to our right-hand side here. Splice Optic Gaming on the Bravo screen. And that one is in game 2 SD, and it's 5-5 Splice with streaks.
Good games all over the place, man. If you're a Call of Duty fan, you're having a lot of fun on this Championship Sunday. Every match I've seen played today has been very exciting.
Most definitely has, and it's worth mentioning. Shout out to the European crowd out there getting loud for Splice here in the venue. I believe you mentioned they won map 1, correct?
I believe they won map 1. I saw some tweets saying that Bance stepped up and was just slaying everything that he saw, but it looks like the third map for our winner bracket finals is about to get underway. Rise Nation versus Luminosity. Currently the series tied up 1-1, and these first two maps couldn't be any closer. I'm feeling we're in store for a close map 3.
They've been absolutely fantastic. Octane as well, specifically from LG, has had a sensational series, 50 plus, I think it was, in the hard point, 15 kills in game 2, search and destroy, but can he step up once again here in a Flag Tower CTF?
I mean, you figure he can. He drops 52 kills, like you're saying, goes off in the search. He's definitely the man Rise Nation want to shut down, but Luminosity's continue. Try to target Gunless. Slow Gunless down. We've seen when he could flip that switch, take over a game. He's one of the best flex players we have in the CWL.
And I'm actually curious to see what Octane decides to start with, because we've seen him play Flag Tower a few times this event. Of course, he's renowned for his AR presence, but no stranger to pulling out a submachine gun, especially on this map. But already it's an early start here for Rise Nation as they want to put pressure on LG's flag.
And this is what I love about watching Rise Nation when it comes to their CTF gameplay is Looney, he's not afraid to just go in, put his body on line, try to get that flag out, and try to kickstart some offense, draw the attention from their team, put it on him so that his teammates can push up and get more interactions. That's going to be a clean forward down for Luminosity. This is almost certainly going to be the first flag cap on the board for Rise Nation, and we've only played 50 seconds.
Yep, Gunless, he's ready and waiting to find anyone from LG off spawn. Cap will ultimately kill him, but as you said, that flag is home, sweet home. Rise, 1-0 advantage in just a minute gameplay.
Okay, but as Luminosity push out their base, they do get some kills, so that's going to buy them some breathing room. They can now push out the lanes, establish some map control, look to trade out some kills, and then try to get an offensive push going on their own. But over near the boardwalk side of the map, it's TJ Halley finding the kill over on Slack. JCap trying to make the play happen near the Rise Nation base. He's going to be unable to, and Octane, the man of the hour so far with the SMG, has a slow start, picks up the kill. He falls, though. That's going to be 3 down once again for Luminosity, as you see pressure being put on the other side of the map for Rise Nation. Everybody's starting to sprint forward, and guess what? TJ already has streaks to use.
Yeah, he was a great start in the hard point, if you remember, the previous respawn that we saw, and a great start here as well. Fighter Pilot Glide Bomb as he works towards his third and final streak. The Artillery Barrage, will he find the third kill? Not going to happen. He falls, but Methods has already pulled the flag, and one player in a position to stop him. It's going to be John as he tries to hunt him down. Methods too weak, but the flag by no means returned just yet.
Yep, Nate gets thrown in. Looney re-picks up the flag. John now pushing out for the reach. Gets the beat down right onto Looney. The return as well. Now only 225 points away from getting some streaks of his own. John's the man that Rise Nation want to shut down. TJ's going to get traded out. John did find it while getting that kill.
Wow.
Now only 25 points away. This might be the start of a good push from Luminosity as he finds one more. Now John has some streaks on his own, and he's going to waste no time calling them in. Currently on a 5-3. You see the Rise Nation players coming off respawn. He's just looking for a kill to make, and he finds it on the TJ.
So beautiful stuff. You saw Methods instantly pull out a mountain class, but it might not be enough. Honestly, just a flag touch could be enough here for John. He ultimately falls, and kill has been traded out. Octane now with a flag, but it's basically a 1v3. He's by himself at the back of the map. That will be shut down, but bear in mind, Gunless off spawn actually overextended, put pressure on LG's base, and he now has a flag of his own.
Yeah, Jacob trying to turn around, but he gets tagged up, connects with the headshot, but the fighter pilot gets called in. John's able to find two, so the flag dropped for the time being. One player left alive, that's going to be Methods. Coming off respawn is going to be Looney. Flag not returned yet. Looks like Luminosity, they should be able to get the return. Let's see if they could find an offensive push off the back of this, so that way, you know, you get some more use out of that fighter pilot. I think the return's good enough, though.
Could have been crazy if you saw maybe even more counter streaks come through there, but of course they decide against it. Still a 1-0 game in favor of Rise Nation. TJ still with 2 streaks at his disposal. Slacked, unfortunately, is going to get the team kill there, and that may just slow down that push.
Yeah, just one less player to work with, just trying to stay alive, hold map control. Methods now starting to push on forward, and, you know, Rise Nation, they're more willing than other teams I've seen when it comes to CTF to just let one player, usually it's Looney, try to sneak through, try to make a play happen, and, you know, relieve some pressure from the other teammates. But Luminosity pinned back in their base. This time it's going to be John. Keep an eye on number 6 on your minimap. See where he decides to make a play happen, as he's the only person push up for Luminosity right now.
And it's worth mentioning, the reason they can really get away with that playstyle, allowing Looney to be a little sneaky, is because of how disciplined he is, right? Very, very disciplined player when it comes to CTF specifically, and often makes the right decisions, that's for sure. But the final 60 seconds now of the first half, and LG dropping like flies. This time it's going to be Slack that sneaks through, but as you can see, the red arrows tracking back. Looney sniffed something was up, and Gunless was there to help.
Rise are just such a well-coordinated team. As soon as they get a couple kills, they push up, they spread the map, they cover all their avenues, and they make sure they start counting players. Who's alive? When was the last time we saw him? They're just so aware of what's going down on the map. Battle going down near the Luminosity flag. One player to get past. It's going to be Looney. He's able to find 2. Slack finally able to clean up the kill. So now another chance for Luminosity to push up, establish some map control. Time starting now to wind down in this first half. 30 seconds remaining. Keep in mind, if either teams are able to get a touch on the opposing team's flag, then we're going to see some extra stoppage time. Yeah,
the extra 60 seconds could come through. Octane ultimately falls, and Note, of course, started with a sub, pulls out the assault rifle, wants to try and cover that sandbag lane. Sadly, falls here, though, so LG with just 2 alive need to just ward off the Rise Nation push, and TJ, with about 13 seconds left, could still get a touch of his own. There's one. Can he find the second? Not going to happen. Octane wins the gunfight.
It was close. Maybe Gunless could get a touch. No, he won't be able to. As Octane, take a look at the kill feed. He switched over to the SCG. He started off so slow with that PPSH. Right now, he's sitting at 6 and 12. He's like, you know, I'm not finding any success. Might as well change it up and see if we could if it'll have a good effect on our playstyle.
Yeah, he started trying to cover that sandbag lane, and it can be such a dominant lane for your AR to hold. And had a little bit more success, I think it's fair to say, but ultimately, still, it's Rise Nation 1-0 up here in the CTF, and it just shows you how truly close this game is.
Oh yeah, both teams fairly evenly matched, I would say. I mean, a lot of talent we have right here on the stage. Everybody here knows how to play Call of Duty, so it's just going to come down to just straight up execution. Take a look at the side of Luminosity. John having a stellar performance at 17 and 10. On the side of Rise Nation, everybody are around the same area, so it's a full team effort from these guys.
Bear in mind, TJ still with those streaks. When is he going to decide to use the fighter pilot and the glide bomb? Could be defensively or also on the aggressive, dependent, of course, on how Rise Nation gets success here in the second half, or how much success they get. But Cat with a nice double to kick things off. Can he find the triple? Not going to happen.
Maybe it was just off the break, but LG right there, they had 2 ARs. They had Cat with the STG. They also had Octane as well. Normally on Flak Tower, you see a lot of subs for good reason. This is like a deceivingly small map. It's you could get from point to point pretty quickly, so normally the pace is just not suited for an assault rifle gameplay.
And normally when Octane does pull out the sub, J-Cap's that guy that uses the AR, so I think that's just their opening strat, right? Run a 2-2 setup. Now it seems like Octane may actually, or sorry, J-Cap's actually pulled out the sub now, so Octane's probably going to keep the AR out. As we mentioned, didn't really have too much success in the first half. Curious to see if he can step things up a little bit in the second, because he's been LG's key player so far in this series, and right now underperforming by his standards.
And that's all 4 down for Luminosity. And look, you also bring out that assault rifle to maybe slow down the play style just a little bit. Have Octane play a bit more passively, hold that lane, and try to cut down the aggressive players from Rise Nation. And speaking of Rise Nation, they're establishing mid-map control. Thanks to Looney here, he's going to be able to find one, put some shots into Slack, and now he's just going to reposition as he pushes in over towards bottom elevator, finds the kill over on JCap, just backing up, buying time for his teammates who are pushing in on the electric side of the map. We're pushing in through ammo. Gunless won't be able to pick up the kill onto John. So far what we've seen throughout this whole map is just kills being traded back and forth as both teams just try to set up mid-map control and work towards that second wave of kills.
I mean, you talk about the kills, you look at that kill column, relatively even. John really picking up the slack here from his teammates, Octane and
quite literally,
Mike.
he is picking up slack right now. He's 8-15.
8 and 15. Not the best performance from him, but still 3 minutes to turn things around, and it only takes 1 play in CTF. You get 4 down once.
And look, even with both these players struggling, you're only down by 1 flag. There's plenty of time to turn it around. All it takes is 1 good sequence to get that flag out. But as long as Rise Nation keep clutching up on these defensive kills, they just know when to wrap back, and they just collapse back on their flag whenever they start to lose any sort of positioning. It's rule 1 of capture the flag. Before you can start to progress out on the map and think about getting an offensive push going, you have to rotate back. Make sure that your base is clear and clear out any sneakers from the other team.
Yeah, that's when you see disaster start to happen. Now TJ actually going to use his fighter pilot. We'll see if he's able to pick up a couple of kills. 1 drops, that's going to be Octane. And ultimately now you may see Rise go completely on the aggressive. It's John that has to stay alive, as does Slack. Realistically here, Method's trying to be a nuisance, but he runs into John mid-map and ultimately drops.
That would have been a huge kill for John to get onto Gunless. And, you know, it's tough to get the second wave of kills on a map like Flag Tower because the main spawns for both teams are just going to be in the back of their respective bases. But Gunless, he's going to push right on third. He pulls the Luminosity flag, but number 6 on the minimap, John, he gets a spawn. He should turn back around and pick up the kill from Gunless from behind, but he hasn't spotted it just yet. There's one. Can he get the second? Initial shots in the Methods. Yes, 2 down for Rise Nation. The return comes in from Luminosity Gaming. Let's see if they can get a flag pull off the back of its offensive push.
And what a play from John, the double, and he keeps the streak alive as well. 450 out of 625. Can he find one more? Not going to happen. Finally falls, but his teammates now trying to be aggressive. It's going to be in the form of Octane. 1 shot sadly falls as well. Time is of the essence. LG, they need to push, and they need to push quickly.
Just like in the Search and Destroy, it was a 1-man show from the Luminosity Gaming squad. Then it was Octane. This time in the CTF, it's John. 28 and 15. The guy's doing everything he can to keep his team in the game. And look, they're still only down by 1 flag. So despite getting outslayed, despite DJ having these streaks to use, Rise Nation have been unable to increase their lead, and Luminosity, like I've been saying, 1 good push is all it takes. You get that second wave of kills, you push up and you get the flag cap, you tie the game up.
Here's the problem. TJ still with a glide bomb to use at his disposal, so things maybe get a little out of hand for Rise Nation. He can drop that and potentially secure a return if the flag is pulled, of course, but just beautiful defensive play from Rise Nation, and LG just haven't had an answer for that.
Yeah, time and time again, Rise Nation have held on the defensive end. They recognize, right, as soon as LG starts pushing into their base, Rise Nation have a good spread, and then they just collapse back on their flag, make sure that their base is clear, and now you have Gunless trying to get some offense going over near the main gun side of the map. You're going to see a push being made by Rise Nation. Looney's going to pull the flag out. TJ still with this glide bomb. You see the spawns now incoming from Luminosity Gaming, go towards the boardwalk side of the map. John finds the call into Methods, so now it's a race. It's a foot race on the overextension.
I feel like TJ could ultimately just drop that glide bomb here, almost secure the win with the second flag, and he is going to use the streak. There's going to be 1 player overextending. John wins the gunfight, but it doesn't even matter. The glide bomb falls. Rise Nation cap the flag. It's a 2-0 lead with 19 seconds left. LG not in a position to pull the flag fast enough, and it will be Rise that take game 3, flag tower capture.
Yeah, barring a miracle, I mean, Octane has to kill everybody, pull the flag, set up a perfect relay. It's just not possible. With that kill, yes, Rise Nation, they're going to do it. They're going to take Flag Tower CTF, and now you start to think back towards that first math. If they close it out there in the final seconds, we would have a Rise Nation 3-0. But as it stands, they lead the series 2-1. We will be seeing that 4th map as we're moving to Valkyrie.
Yes, a Valkyrie hardpoint, and then of course if we do get the distance, a Valkyrie Search and Destroy
back to
as
back.
well. And they were the 2 maps that I looked at and I said, well, LG have been pretty damn good so far in those 2. We saw them play a bit of Valk Search and Destroy in the Pro League, and we've seen a fair amount of Valk hardpoint as well here in the CWL Birmingham. But as it stands, our reigning champs had some stumbles in pool play, looked fantastic today in the championship bracket as they find themselves, as you mentioned, Revan, 2-1 up here in our winners bracket final.
Yeah, sorry for Luminosity in that CTF. It was just the John show. He goes 30 and 19. His teammates didn't give him much help whatsoever, but despite that, up until the very end, it was only a one-flag game. So there's certainly opportunities there for Luminosity, but Rise Nation, they were just playing a smart, safe style of capture the flag, always rotating back, always clearing out their base time and time again. They would make clutch defensive plays happen, and now the pressure on Luminosity as they're fighting to stay alive in this series.
And perfect streak use as well from TJ, must be said. You know, he calls in that glide bomb just to secure that second flag, which is ultimately the final nail in LG coffin there in the game 3. But, I mean, you look at the series as a whole, how close it's been. 250-214 game 1, which was very, very close. It basically just came down to the final rotation. The search and destroy, 6-5. I mean, that CTF was basically 1-0 until the very end. I mean, it ultimately finishes 2-0. But I think this Valk hard point, it's going to be more of the same, River.
Yeah, and now I'm worried for Luminosity because Flag Tower, it's a fast-paced CTF. And if there's one thing we know about Valkyrie Hardpoint is that's a very fast-paced hardpoint map as well. So you're going to be putting your eyes on the Octane coming to this next map. He struggled on that Flag Tower CTF after dropping 52 on the first map, dropping, you know, at least 15 kills in the search and destroy. He has to have an impact going into this Valkyrie Hardpoint. You're also looking at John as well. He had a stellar performance on London Docks, but it was all him. I'm sorry, it was Flag Tower CTF. Graphic throwing me off a little bit there, but you know, going to the next map, Valkyrie, I think you give the advantage to Rise. I think they have a good shot at closing it out here.
Yeah, potentially, you hit the kind of nail on the head there, if you will. Octane needs to have a bigger map here. It was very, very slow, but then on the flip side, you look at Rise and pretty much everyone, even across the board. Gunner started the series off very slow, but everyone stepped up there in that Game 3 CTF, and that's a scary, scary thing if you're an LG fan heading into this Valkyrie hardpoint. And just having a quick glance through a few of the players, I believe someone from Rise Nation actually using Expeditionary off the bat there. It might be interesting. Pretty sure it was. Yeah,
I think that's smart. You know, try to throw some stuns. I think over towards the opposing team as they like, for example, Luminosity, since they're spawning on the operation side of the map. Yep, just try to toss that stun over. Does it connect? It does not, but you still love to see the idea there.
And he has a Semtex as well, right? So ultimately, if the stun doesn't work, you still have a second attempt. That one won't find a kill, but it's a good start for Rise Nation. A couple of kills come in their favor, and ultimately they will get hill control as well.
Yeah, great start for Rise Nation. Octane, the last one alive here for Luminosity. His other teammates coming off respawn, still over near the operation side of the map, and that's where Rise Nation are going to start pushing, right? They want to put themselves in a better position as we, you know, start to think ahead of that second hard point near operations. You want to hold the top side of the map, get the spawns in your favor, but, you know, this map, Valkyrie Hardpoint in specific, this is Gunless's playground, man. Time and time again, we've seen him turn up and just have stellar games.
I mean, this to me is Gunless versus John. That is what this map is going to come.
That's a great matchup.
It really is. Gunless has been phenomenal. He's a get-out-of-jail-free card many times for Rise Nation on this map here in Birmingham. And John, on the flip side, has just been Mr. Consistent. Every time he plays the map, you see him get streaks. I mean, right now, he's on a 3-kill streak, working towards his first streak of the game. LG, of course, they'll have the fragile, 11-point lead, I think it will be, as the hill rotates. But ultimately, Rise, with the rotation, and should win these gunfights and give them control as well.
Yeah, big kills being made by Methods over near the top right-hand side of the map, just playing for spawn, staying alive. His teammates now, they can reinforce quicker into the hardpoint, whereas you're going to see Luminosity, they're spawning out further towards that storage bunker side of the map. And as it stands, it's Rise Nation hold on. TJ's able to find 2, pushing Luminosity further and further back on the map. As time starts to wind down, Luminosity are going to be able to make maybe 2-3 more good pushes into operations before you know, give up the remaining scrap time and invest that into an early setup for this upcoming third hardpoint.
30 seconds left, right? You don't want to just give it up completely. You need to try and contest, at least if you're LG, and that seems to be the game plan. But Rise holding strong thus far. One final attempt should come in the form of Slackton John, as John trades the kill out. And he should be good to pick up the scrap time now and keep it close, at least in points.
All right, so playing for the scrap time, of course, losing some position over towards the storage bunker, where you see TJ fighting for some early kills. He finds one on the JCap, now working alongside his teammate Looney as they're trying to get the early capture points here. As it stands, 9-point lead for Rise Nation. Very fragile, of course, still super early on in this game, but coming around the flank, it's going to be Gunless. Playing towards loading as he pushes up the supply street. Will run into Slacked as he just gets double teamed. He gets cut down. Luminosity trying to set up a push into the hard point.
But once again, it's Rise Nation early in the hill, right? They're winning these rotation fights and they're getting the early time. John has to get a double, and that seems to be the only way LG are actually able to break the Rise setup. John has to get a triple kill lastly, gets a double there, opens the door for the rest of his teammates to actually try and get some hill presence.
Okay, so JCap trying to find his way in the game, currently on a 2 spree. Inside the hard point though, it's only he finds one, swaps to the machine pistol, can't pick up that second kill. And with 20 seconds remaining, you start thinking about this new upcoming hardpoint as we move over towards the office, where you see Luminosity spawning right now. Slack, he could start to push out over towards the supply street side of the map, where you might find Methods. But just looking to maintain this early position, play this corner, and really try to guarantee yourself these kills in transition.
This is getting a little bit of a worry for me here, as Rise Nation really starting to develop a fair bit of a lead, and realistically it's here in office where LG needs a chip away, right? And this could be a great time with a full setup here for someone to maybe play for some streaks.
And yeah, like we were saying, it's early and it's not that big of a lead, but it's been steadily growing for Rise Nation, hill by hill. They get 10 seconds here, they get 10 seconds there, and now all of a sudden it was a 20-point, 30-point lead for Rise Nation at one point. But Luminosity, they're holding on to the office hardpoint for the time being. You see Rise Nation spawning over near the top side of the map, whereas Luminosity spawning over near side loading, and Rise Nation, they're starting to chain kills together, and there's Gunlets. 12 and 6, by the way, on a 3 spree before he gets cut down. Also has 56 seconds, the most time in the hill for his team. And you figure it's only a matter of time before somebody else for Rise steps up, whereas you look at the side of Luminosity right now, it's John and JCap doing the work.
Yeah, this is getting scary, because just as you kind of sore and cold, Gunless can have a fantastic Valk, and he really is kind of stepping up to try and match that pace of John. John 14 and 10, Gunless right behind him at 13 and 9. And you look at the score as well, 105 to 80 points here of LG. 20 points, or just about shy here as we rotate over towards Smokestacks, the final hill of the rotation.
Slack could have made a big play right there. TJ finds 2 in transition, and now Slack is going to move, but he gets the grenade kill on the Looney, but Method's coming off respawn. Shoots him in the back, easy kill for him, as Rise Nation have early control once again. I feel like we've been saying that about every single hardpoint here. Early control goes to Rise. They have early positioning, they pick up the kills, and now they're starting to build a significant lead.
Everyone apart from the last one, where LG got a full setup and ultimately weren't able to hold it very long. John, of course, now playing for some streaks. He is going to fall. Looney shuts him down, and Rise, they just look in full control here on Valk hardpoint.
Yeah, they're really starting to get into a rhythm, right? You still have Gunless continue to perform, which just opens up room for his teammates to find more interactions and find their groove into this game. Continue to pick up time. It's Looney inside the hardpoint. Swaps back over to the PPSH, working alongside Methods to pick up kills. He challenges JCap, connects with the headshot. Now a 50-point lead and growing for Rise Nation, as they should be able to get the remaining time here on Smokestacks. We're about to begin another rotation of hardpoints, moving back into vents. This time, it will be Luminosity with early positioning, but can they get the kills to back it up?
Now, what a way to close out that first rotation right there from Rise Nation. They lock down Smokestacks and they build themselves a nice 60-point lead. LG gonna have to rotate a lot better in the second rotation than they did in the first, because Rise had their number in almost every hill outside of one. And we kick things off, of course, back over to Ventilation Room. It's a good early hold here for LG.
And once again, John's trying to do everything he can on his 6 free. Probably has streaks to work with. 21 and 11, 25 points away. So yeah, you want to stay alive. Even though they're not too impactful on the map like Valkyrie, you still use them to have some effect. And there you go. All 3 streaks now earned from John. This could be the moment where Luminosity climb their way back into the game, starting to gain some momentum. 7th spree here for John. Inside vents, trying to make it grow, but TJ Holly, he's going to shut him down. Slack is there for the trade, but Rise Nation still sitting with that 40-point lead.
Yeah, the artillery barrage could honestly be the key there for LG to come back into this one. Whether he puts it on Smokestacks or potentially watches a cut with it or a cross, he can use it in many, many different ways.
Area of effect denial, man.
Exactly, right? Well, maybe you get a couple of hit markers. Well, that player's going to be one shot. Everything can potentially help, as the deficit that was 60 is now down to 40, as LG actually out-rotate Rise here for the second hill, and they can chip away once again at the lead, and the streaks are going to be called in instantly.
Okay, Glide Bomb gets called in by John, so immediately Rise Nation know that there's going to be a fighter pilot probably to follow this up, and because of the spree that John went on, you figure that he has that 3rd tier available as well. So it was Luminosity with early control of Office, but the tale of this game, right? Rise Nation break on in. This time around, Luminosity, they answer back. Thanks to JCap, he's able to find 2. They're starting to chip away slowly but surely. If they get the remaining time on this operations bunker, we're going to have ourselves a tied game.
Yeah, tied game with streaks as well. So you can only think LG may start pulling away, and John has not slowed down. 24 and 14. However, it must be said, Cap with a beautiful double to open up this operation bunker. Now you have to look at the minimap. Rotation is going to be key. Rise fully set up here for the next hill.
Yeah, you know, spread out on the map. They're covering all their angles. Now they just need to get the kills to solidify their position. And uh-oh, JCap picks up the kill on Methods, and look how far away he spawns out. Methods going to be further away from the current hard point. You see Looney, he's trying to back up into Office, trying to maintain some sort of position. He falls. Luminosity now trying to break on in. They have the positioning to work with. They just need to clear out one more player. That's going to be Gunlets inside the hard point. He's trying to play his life, buy time for his teammates who are coming off respawn, but he can't buy enough. Luminosity break on in, and they're looking to take the lead.
Yeah, and it's basically just going to be back and forth contention. It looks like Cap flies in, he falls. Now it's John and Octane's turn. John inside the hill. Can he just stay alive? LG take the lead. 175, 174. 30 seconds still left here in storage, and Rise Nation, they're spawning out.
Guess why Luminosity have been able to find their way back into the game. You remember how we were hyping up Gunless coming into this one, and he was double positive. Now he's just even. He's been unable to continue that slaying, and everything is dropping here for a Rise Nation, while Luminosity, they're starting to step up, playing off the back of John's momentum.
Yeah, you mentioned that obviously Gunless slows down. Well, Cap, he heats up. Octane heats up. Slag still pretty much even, but winning some key fights when his team need him on rotation. Speaking of that rotation now, you'll see the fight start to come through. LG, a 20-point lead. That is a big, big swing here in the second rotation, and LG, they have office control early.
You know, I honestly think this would be a great moment to call in the artillery barrage. Block off one of the doorways and force Rise Nation to fight on in. If you get the remaining time here, Luminosity, you win the game and you force the game 5, but it's going to be John locking down this doorway. One player left. That's a clean 4 down for Rise Nation. Luminosity looking to close out the game right here, right now. They want to see a game 5.
It's worth mentioning, John, as well. A minute 47 hill time as a double comes through. He's looking for 3. Ultimately, it takes Octane to mow him down. The fighter pilot, of course, comes in there from Octane. He started to streak up as well, and LG have shifted into a new gear here as they pull away in game 4.
Okay, still 17 seconds to close this one out. They're chaining kills back to back to back to back. They know exactly where Rise Nation are spawning up, and they're just mowing them down. John could do whatever he wants on the map, but Luminosity, they can no longer win on this current hard point. Rise Nation, they will live to fight at least one more hill in this game.
They will, but, I mean, you look at the point lead, right?
Figure it's only a matter of time.
You need 3 points if you're LG. That is it. You have streaks at your disposal as we head over towards Smokestacks Hill. You expect to see basically everything used here. John's going to use the fighter pilot first. Should be able to slay a couple of players out of the hill. TJ is going to drop. Gunless and Methods are going to be there, but the call out for the teammate should surely be enough for the contention to come through. The gunfights are won, and LG take the winner's bracket final to a game 5.
Back to back on Valkyrie, as that will be our final game. And it really was John, the man of the hour. He was doing everything he possibly could in the early stages of the game and just waiting for somebody on his team to help him out. It was pretty tough for them to shut down Gunless, considering the start he had as well, but it was only a matter of time. JCap steps up, Octane finds his rhythm in that game, and towards the end of this hard point, it was Luminosity all the way.
And it was that key fight, right? The heads-up fight, Gunless versus John. Both players start off very, very strong. Gunless slows down, John doesn't. And that is something which is so difficult to stay at that pace for an entire map. And he was basically keeping LG in that game. They were down, what, 60 to 80 points at one point in the game. Finally, the rest of his teammates start to heat up. You see Octane get streaks, Caps breaking into hills, getting double kills, and then LG take control of the series. But John, throughout the entire map, was impeccable.
Yeah, you know, since the start, it was Rise Nation. They had that comfortable like 40 to 50 point lead throughout the majority of the game. But once Luminosity started rotating a little bit earlier and solidifying their position with kills in transition, that's when they started to turn the game around. And, you know I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. John is the X factor for this Luminosity team. When he's playing well, he opens up room for the rest of his teammates to find success.
MVP, this event. I really can't think of that many other players that you can say have had such a big, big impact so far. But, of course, our winners bracket final. We're all tied up, 2 maps apiece. When we return, we're going to game 5, Search and Destroy Unbound. It's the winners bracket final here on Championship Sunday, and we're all tied up 2-2, which means we're going to that Game 5 Search and Destroy. The map, of course, Valkyrie.
Yep, coming off the Valkyrie hardpoint, momentum in favor of Luminosity, but if you're just tuning in now, take a look at how the series played out. It was a very close London Docks hardpoint to kick things off, came down to that final rotation towards the Docks hardpoint, the Search and Destroy to follow it up. All the way to round 11, and what was pretty much a 1-0 CTF game throughout the majority of Rise Nation get that second flag at the very end, and it was a momentum surge at the end of that Valkyrie hardpoint that led Luminosity to take the victory there, and it leads us all the way here to Game 5. Back to Valkyrie for more Search and Destroy action.
And when we went through the vetoes, I said, you know, I see those two Valkyries. That's my concern for Rise. Can LG force that 4th and 5th map? Well, they were able to do so thanks to their win in Game 1, of course, and now we head over to that Valkyrie Search and Destroy Game 5 winners bracket final. Loser, of course, will find our losers final, but the winner books their ticket into the grand final. And it's worth mentioning, an eruption here in the venue goes out. Splice take Optic Gaming to a Game 5 as well. You can watch that one on our Bravo stream.
Yeah, if you don't have 2 monitors, go out and buy a second one. You're missing some key Call of Duty action, but here we go. Game 5 just kicking off here. Luminosity versus Rise Nation, offensive round first. We'll be going to Luminosity. Now, typically on Valkyrie Search, we'll see a lot of action go over towards that A-bomb site. I feel like it's going to be the same story here.
Well, we're going to, as you said, kick things off on board with Octane here from LG. Just being so patient. Note, it's going to be Methods and Looney, the players you may have the gunfight with. And watch out for John with just a phenomenal previous map here on Valk. Does a good job of just staying alive. Doesn't want to give away the first blood just yet, but has to back away and reload. And there you have it. Octane picks up the first blood.
Okay, bomb goes down. Make it 2 for Octane as it's down to TJ as well as Gunless. Trying to wrap back around. Gunless finds JCap all down to TJ. He just shot on the map, so they should know where he is. Those spots slacked. Spots Octane as well. I think Octane gets 3 kills in that opening round as Luminosity start off to a 1-0 lead.
I mean, what more can he do, right? This entire series, you look at the entire series as a whole, as a best of 5. Only CTF you can look at and be like, oh yeah, he kind of let the team down a little bit there.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe a slow start to that Valkyrie hardpoint, but he turned it around.
The Game 4 was slow, but I mean, the first Search and Destroy, 15 kills, a 50 bomb in map 1, kicks off Game 5 at 3-0. I mean, it's basically just Mr. Consistent.
I mean, it's been the story with Octane, man. Sometimes you just see him, when he's playing at his best, he is unstoppable. 3 kills for him in the first round, as now it's going to be Rise Nation. They have a shot at their first offensive round. And guess what? Attack right into the vents room. They're looking to get this bomb planted at the A site.
One player in a position to maybe close a ruckus is going to be Cap, but he's just watching the lane for now. Doesn't want to push straight through. Instead, LG, they're going to have that wolf pack mentality, the buddy system. Look for the trades to come through, and realistically, the first fight should come in the form of Methods.
Yeah, I mean, look, Luminosity, they're playing this right. In order to retake this A-bomb site, you got to be able to push in through multiple angles. There are 4 ways to get in. You want to try to get in through at least 3 of them. But Rise Nation playing on the outskirts, trying to deny entry to Luminosity. They answer right back with 2 kills of their own. Methods gets heavily tagged up, somehow finds a way to stay alive. John's trying to find this kill, but take a look at the time. It's winding down. 15 seconds left on that bomb timer.
That's the key, and LG, they may have to consider just hopping on the bomb. Methods has full insight on John, and now he's giving away his position. He's shot.
He needs 1 kill on the bomb
plant.
plant.
Stay alive. Octane 3/4 of the way through. Methods, is he going to pick the bomb in time? It doesn't even matter. John wins the gunfight, and LG get a cushion in Game 5.
What a way to win that defensive round for Luminosity Gaming. Methods just needed 1 kill. 1 kill, and he wins that round for his team. Just unable to make it happen. Couldn't get past John. John had a phenomenal Valkyrie hardpoint. Continuing through here, working alongside Octane, 7-0 combined between the both of them, and Octane so close to some streaks.
And you can assume John's going to be relatively close as well. Not as close, of course, as Octane, but about halfway through. We'll stay on board with Octane. As LG on the attacking side, it was an A push early last round, and Rise respected that this time, as it's actually TJ that plays inside the A site. However, it's going to be the B push. First of all, John with a first blood. Looney falls. John with a double, and it's now a 4v2.
Yeah, John's just winning everything right now on a 5-3, and I feel like Luminosity, they decide to attack the B bomb site because they know that these players are close towards streaks. Because it's such a wide open bomb site, if you're able to earn these streaks, then you can just lock down the site. John, he kills everybody.
I told you, Valkyrie, it's his map. We should just rename it John. Simply put, an ace for him in this round, and he did not take his foot off the gas pedal. It was Octane closer to streaks. It doesn't even matter. John's going to get the streaks first.
Yeah, John earns them first, and if you're Rise Nation, you got to find a way to shut these players down. The aggression that John's bringing to the table, normally when we talk about slowing someone down, we talk about throwing some stun grenades at them. Try to find a way to switch up the pace and make them feel a bit uncomfortable on the map. But yes, John, 50 points away from earning that tier 3 streak. has the fighter pilot, has the glide bomb as we're entering the 4th round to play. So far, Luminosity, they've won every single round. John and Octane combining for 11-0. JCap, he's just chilling. He's sitting back on his teammates do the work.
When you're 3-0 up, it doesn't really matter about your own stat line. That's for sure. And you expect him, the veteran he is, to step things up himself. Of course, John just looking for some information or even the first blood and potentially that 3rd and final streak. But Rise on the attacking side, they're going to have to take control of something. And John gets another first blood, his 2nd of the game so far. And gets that 3rd streak as well.
John can do no wrong. Everywhere he pushes, no matter what area of the map he's on, he's going to find a kill. He's going to find a way to win that engagement as, yeah, it's another first blood for him. That makes it 2 in this game, but also 8-0. Yeah, of course, you could challenge methods, even though he has an AR, just because you're winning every single engagement. Why not? He probably has the most confidence on his team right now. As it's going to be Gunless on your screen here. Looney does find the kill onto JCap. Looney, by the way, has the bomb in hand. Finds the 2nd onto Slack. So now it's down to John and Octane, but that's all right because they've been doing everything for Luminosity in this search. But time winding down, and Rise Nation have to get this bomb planted.
Now, the 1v3 for John. Can he keep the form up? Challenges the first, ultimately falls, and Rise Nation win their first round here in the Game 5 Valk. And I think that really came from Looney opening up LG. He wins the first fight. Slack doesn't react quick enough, and Looney gets a free double with that bomb, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're in that kind of 2v3 situation. The whole LG setup falls apart.
Yeah, so that's the way to shut down John. Just throw too many bodies at him, so too many for him to handle. Getting that man advantage is obviously key for Rise Nation as they put up their 1st round win. Let's see if they can follow up here on defense, of course. Important to keep in mind that you still have these streaks available. John has them to use here. You might want to see another B-bomb site attack just because it's wide open. So all of these streaks that John has would have an impact on post-plant.
Bear in mind as well, Octane, no streaks for him, right? He ultimately dies, not able to get the extra 100 or so points he needs, but John's going to challenge Looney straight off the bat and expects the 2nd player to be there, goes for the beatdown, didn't manage to fire the final bullet though. He's going to leave TJ Haley 1 shot. Rise now with the advantage.
Yeah, TJ's going to challenge in, but 2 players drop simultaneously for Rise Nation. Now it's all down to Looney. 1v2, definitely doable situation because keep in mind, Luminosity, they got to go for the plant, and while Slack is planning, he's not on the map able to get a kill. Looney just trying to find where these Luminosity players went. This bomb should get planted over at B.
And when you're in these 2v1 situations, you need to plant the bomb. It's much easier to go over towards that B site, right? There's 3 doors you can potentially go into and collapse on A. And Looney now finds his way over towards B. Oh, guns Octane, 1v1. Looney, of course, weak. He has full information on Slack. Slack may have to go for the pre-fire. Slack now weak as well. 29 seconds, bear that in mind. Looney looking to make a massive, massive play for Rise Nation. Peekaboo, there's Slack. He falls. Looney picks up the defuse.
Boys and girls, that's why you run Mountain, right? Silent footsteps, able to walk right through the alley. Comes up behind Slack as that's 2 rounds, 1 in a row. And what was looking like Luminosity with a chance to just start to run away with this search and destroy at the beginning. It's Rise Nation now finding their footing. They bring it to within 1 round.
A massive streak progression there as well for Looney. Right, gets the defuse. Everyone from LG is going to see that. So if you see Looney pick up a first blood, well, you could be in a little bit of trouble. And especially you consider the fact that he's more than likely going to pick up this bomb. If he gets the plant down, you could be in trouble just as well.
And there you go. He does pick up the bomb, so look for him to try to get this objective down to secure those score streaks. But Looney's just been Mr. Reliable for this Rise Nation squad. Every time they've needed him to step up, he's found the clutch kills, you know, and capture flag, even in hardpoint, you know, playing for spawns for his team. Anything that he can do to allow his team to win the game, he's going to do it. Such a selfless player.
Nade in hand. I'm surprised to see Rise actually push over towards the A site on the aggressive. B could definitely be a little bit of a better option, but Slack actually gets the first blood, instantly traded out, of course. TJ throws the nade, and John still has those streaks, and honestly could maybe call in the mortars just at that front door. Looney challenges, and Looney falls. He was able to pick up Octane, though. So, with that information, you know he has earned himself at least 1 of those streaks. Gunless for the 1v2, makes it the 1v1. However, it's John, and he flies out the door for the trade, and LG 4-2 lead.
Looks like some frustration on the players of Rise Nation there. You saw in the player shot at the end there, but John just immediately challenging. Obviously, the call-out comes in. He's one shot, just goes in. All he needs to do is connect with 1 bullet, does exactly that, cleans up the kill. As Luminosity, they go back up by 2 rounds.
Gunless obviously reads the situation perfectly, throws the Semtex, but when you're that weak and John's that confident, you're probably going to fall and lose that 1v1. Of course, LG 4-2 up now. They go back on the attacking side. John still with streaks, and this is where I'd love to see a B push.
Yep.
Make something a little bit different. We've seen a lot of A. Only one push we've seen from LG go towards that B side. It was when John picked up the ace. Now you have some extra artillery, literally, in your back pocket here. You could really mix things up.
And look, because they know that John has streaks to play with, Methods is forced to put on Mountain. He gets stunned up, and now John, he's going to push right through the side alley. Can't get the first blood onto Methods. Somehow he finds a way to win it. Pre-firing Slack is there for the trade, but the glide round for Looney, that connects on the Slack. That's kills being traded between both these teams. Now we're down to a 1v2 as Octane finds himself as the last player alive for Luminosity Gaming. Doesn't have silent footsteps either, so he's got a long road ahead of him, but he's got 50 seconds to work with.
And of course, it was that kill Looney managed to get on Octane last round, which gave him the streaks. Looney ultimately falls. Octane 1v1. It's going to be gunless for Rise Nation. 42 seconds left. Of course, LG still on the attacking side, and gunless, feeling confident, peaks challenges, and wins the round for Rise.
We call that COD timing, right? Octane pre-aiming exactly where gunless is about to come, and as soon as he turns away, that's the moment where gunless peeks out. There's a good read from Octane, unable to make the 1v2 happen. As Rise Nation staying alive. Round by round is how they're approaching the remainder of this game. And we'll see what they bring to the table in this upcoming round.
Of course, you know, still streaks available for both of our two teams. Looney has the fighter pilot. On the flip side, John still with 3 streaks. Of course, wasn't able to use much. He was kind of forced into that challenge of Methods. I mean, you kind of have to when he's stunned. Methods wins the fight, though. That round would have been completely different if John was able to pick up that kill. More than likely, it would have been a 5-2 as opposed to the 4-3. Of course, Rise now on the attacking side, however.
Okay, pushing through the side alleys. It's going to be Looney. Just looking to spot. I think his teammate just gave him some cover. Yes, he does spot JCap. Puts in a lot of shots. Can't clean up the kill. But now this is going to allow Luminosity to reposition. Looney will get spotted. He gets cleaned up this time around. John comes out back on top. His 3rd first blood in this game.
He's firing missiles, it looks like. He just evaporated Looney, and this is the perfect time for him now to use some streaks. Is he going to get any information at all?
He might see Teach.
I think he just saw him, and he gets the hit marker as well, so you may see a potential challenge come through. Play it directly to his right-hand side.
Stuns in.
TJ's fallen, so Jacob gets the call out. Now you're going to have Methods going to get challenged here from Slack. John's with the support here, so minimum a trade comes through. Now it's gunless. 1v4, makes it a 1v3, falls, and LG put themselves at match point.
This series really could not be closer, Ben. Every round very close between both these teams. Just about an even matchup there. You see Octane with the wall bang over near smokestacks. Now series point for Luminosity Gaming. You still got streaks available for John to use. Aside from that glide bomb, they're looking to close it out right here and secure their spot in the grand finals.
This for the grand finals for LG. Coming in from the winner's bracket. What a relief that would be as they look for their first championship here in World War II. And it seems fitting we start this round off on board with John. 11-4, 3 first blood streaks. MVP of the event for me, and there's another one. Can he find the double? Gunless there for the trade, but Slack flies through, trades his teammate's life, and instantly Rise Nation a man down.
You know, on one hand, we would like to see John stay alive and actually use these streaks, but when he's getting first bloods like that, you just can't take him out of his element, right? Looney now trying to find a trade to bring the man advantage back to even, but right now it's Luminosity with the upper hand.
And here's the problem for Looney. He can get collapsed on. He's basically just completely pinched by players. Methods able to shut down Octane, however, so now the 2v2, Looney has been tagged up, and the challenge is going to come, but Looney reads it like a book, and instantly now the 2v1, Looney with the double kill. Beautiful reads from him, keeps Rise Nation alive in the winner's final.
Looney straight up cooked him. Let's look at this again. Weak, Slack going in for the challenge, goes prone and just connects with every single bullet, despite John getting that first blood, and Slack getting the follow-up kill onto Gunless inside vent, so Looney's able to bring the round back for a victory for Rise Nation. They live to fight another round, but I know we've said this a lot throughout this game, but I want to say it again. John still has these streaks. Could be something that helps him out here for a retake on a bomb site.
And let's not forget, Looney still has a fighter pilot as well, so plenty of extra utility for both of our two teams. But after that clutch, Looney's definitely going to be feeling very confident. The smoke grenades come out, you hear them both pop, and Looney with bomb in hand looks as if he may actually push now over towards the B site. The first blood comes in for Octane, and more importantly, somehow manages to stay alive. And Rise needs to be very careful here because LG, they're rotating through. The second kill comes through. John, of course, uses the streaks, and he still has one more left.
But
it's
Looney,
a 4v2.
They don't know Looney's there. Looney's laying down right behind the door. He's going to pop up right behind both these players. Oh, no, it's all up to Looney now. He called it the fighter pilot. That's why he didn't pick up the kills. But as he's going to get out of his streak, he's going to pop back up. Oh, man, if he wasn't in that streak, he could have found 2 easy kills, but it's all up to him. Was a 1v4 situation down to a 1v3.
The problem is LG have no idea where he is, but they find him, and LG pick up the kill, and more importantly, book themselves their ticket into the CWL Birmingham Grand Final.
All right, there we go, our first Grand Finalist.